I got asked several times how we started Orchestral Tools, and in particular, why we decided to create the Berlin series and what's the purpose behind its design of the Berlin series. And when we just go back to the time when we captured Berlin Woodwinds, there was not so much on the market when it comes to virtual orchestras. There were a few brands and a few stuff available, and also I used to what was there at this time. But there was not so much for really agile writing, for something that enabled you really realistic, fast melodies and passages, and in particular very detailed orchestrations in a believable end result. And my friends and I, we were really looking for a tool set for exposed and really comprehensive orchestrations. We just felt limited, and the point is, we were so much inspired by the music of the great masters like Ravel, Debussy, Stravinsky, composers like John Williams, of course, or Jerry Goldsmith, who really used the orchestra in a very comprehensive way. We listened a lot to those music, and then we had this idea, we record this kind of articulation and this and this length, and we combine this with legato or whatever, then we could achieve the same effect. So you start to try out things, and we had a lot of test recordings, and some of the things also went wrong, of course, and went into the wrong direction. That's gonna happen when you try things that nobody else tried before. We never had this idea to build this orchestra in one box and put out this product. It was very clear it's a long-term project, and it was also clear it's gonna be huge, it's gonna be very extended, and it took us months of literally long recording days. But at the end, where are we today? I mean, Berlin Woodwinds comes with multiple instruments per section, same for brass, where you don't just have a solo horn and a horn ensemble. No, we recorded really the 4 individual horns and the horn sections. Something that I find also in particular for woodwinds very important. Woodwinds are really the colors of the orchestra that you use by combining with various other voices of the orchestra. And there it's, of course, it makes a difference if you just have a solo flute and a flute ensemble, or if you have 3 various flutes and you can really orchestrate independent voicings for them, and you hear those are really 3 individual instruments and not just 3 times the same solo instrument. I mean, this is one point, one dimension, but the other dimension are the attacks on long notes. I always asked myself, why are there just one attack on long notes? Because especially in the very first second, that's the crucial seconds where you hear if a virtual orchestration is fake or if it's real. Because just imagine an instrumentalist who plays a melody and he sees, okay, the first note is a quarter note. Of course, the attack of this quarter note will be completely different compared to the attack of a long note that goes just a long note that goes across 3 or 4 bars or something. Of course, in that case, the attack would be way softer compared to the attack of a quarter note. And this is why we decided on strings to record soft attack, immediate attack, accented attack. The same for brass, where it's also very important, and also the length of various articulations, to not just have staccato and sustains, but also to have multiple sets of marcatos and portatos. We differentiate, by the way, in between marcato and portato in a way that portato has a little bit of a softer attack compared to marcato, which has a little bit more of an accent at the beginning. The same applies also to legato. In most of the libraries available, you had just one sort of legato, and I also thought myself, it's also important to have various styles there and also recorded in various speeds. And we created playable runs, patches based on legato transitions, and more agile fingered legato, a more slurred legato version. And then with Berlin Strings, we decided to come up with adaptive legato. And adaptive legato was the idea to combine all those various legato transitions into one patch that detects your playing speed, and based on your performance, it selects the expressive legato transitions, or the very, very fast smeary runs. So you don't need to think about what you're doing. You just perform, and the SINE player selects the right legato transitions for you. Then things like some small details like the blurred articulations, which I find so useful. Blurred articulations are short notes and also long notes that are recorded with a bad intonation. You should not play them on their own, because then it sounds like a drunken musician is playing. But combining them with a regular staccato that is tuned in a good way helps you to create very believable arpeggios and maybe fast little gestures. But it's not just about the detail and about how many articulations each instrument has or how many instruments in total we have. It's also about consistency. Every instrument that we have recorded from the very first beginning are sitting in their natural seating position. That means violins 1 sits on the left side, cello and bass is more towards the right side. Behind that we have the woodwinds and then the brass in the room. And we decided to record everything with the same gain level. And this is also a decision that is so important, because we don't want to destroy the inner dynamics of an orchestra. This is something next to the attacks, what I just mentioned, that I also find so crucial, that when you play together first violins and the first trumpet, if the trumpet is too loud or the violin is too quiet or too loud, you will hear this and it will sound artificial. Because if you want to have the trumpet quieter, the trumpet should perform quieter, but it's a different compared to just lowering the volume of one of those sections to get it somehow fit. And this is where it starts to mix up, where you think, I need this plug-in and this kind of tool. The idea behind the Berlin series is that you have this entire consistency of dynamics already built in this entire series, everything that we've recorded for the Berlin series, and you can combine all those instruments together. So at the end, the Berlin series is the heart piece of orchestral tools, and that's the one big orchestra project that we have. And for us, it's important to still maintain the Berlin series and to add new things to it. Now, as we get everything on the SINE platform, we also decided to get through all the samples to refine and to edit some bad noises maybe out of it, or to just polish the libraries in total when we get them into our hands, to port them from Contact to SINE, to give them a little bit extra love, to handle the Berlin series samples as a very timeless kind of instrument that you can still use in many years. Now let's take a closer look at Berlin Brass. Because of Berlin Brass, we have the biggest change of all the Berlin main collections when we ported them from the Contact platform to our new SINE player. We decided to record an entirely new forte fortissimo layer for all the available instruments, which was a huge job, and we also decided to do very well documentations from the very first recording that we made at Teldex for the Berlin series, and therefore it wasn't a big task to record just this additional layer. And I load a sustain patch now from Trumpet 1 just to give you an impression of how well the various dynamic layers fade over from very quiet to very, very loud. Very nice vital sound that we get with this additional fortissimo layer on top. Let's load in another instrument, maybe the horn ensemble, just the staccato shorts. Control them now by this mod wheel parameter here, CC1, to crossfade between very quiet to very loud. So you really can hear how the extended dynamic range works so well on the horn ensemble. But now let's switch over to, let's say, the trombone ensembles. What I like here in particular is, of course, the rather short kind of articulations and the play in between, for example, staccato and marcato short. We can also add a tuba to this. So let's load tuba staccato short together with tuba marcato short. And to make this playable like one ensemble, let's route them to the same MIDI channel as well as to the same key switch area, which is down there. So, and the same for the tuba. And then let's play. It's so amazing how much more bites those trombones, and especially in combination with tuba, got with the new dynamic layer update. And yeah, also when you play chords with it, it's really extensive. So you can feel the aggressiveness and the bite that we got into the trombones, especially when you combine them with the tuba. Very nice. So this is a little overview about the Fortissimo update. By the way, also maybe interesting, let's load in the sustains again. You can also just disable the very loud dynamic layer if you want. When you go to the dynamic layer tab here, you can just say, so when you just play a note here, you can also disable the last one. And then all the crossfades, the dynamic crossfades, get adjusted to this range of the mod wheel. So let's go back to the single instruments. In this case, just horn 1, sustains and legato, to also show you how well it works with the additional recorded legato transitions for this Fortissimo layer. By the way, we recorded this extra layer not on all the instruments, but on all the instruments where we thought we need an extra layer, or on all the articulations where we just thought, okay, there's missing something, the very high registers. And this is now horn 1, sustains and legato, and you can hear how well the legato transitions and this additional layer works all together in this patch. Nice how easy it is to go from very loud to very quiet. So much about the new update of Berlin Brass and the new Fortissimo layer. You can get the update for free when you just go to My Licenses. You add the serial, the contact serial into My Licenses on our website, and then you get the SINE version for Berlin Brass. You open SINE Player, and then you're able to download Berlin Brass in the new version. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.